Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. We have a special guest today on the channel. We're going to do some Cowboys roundtable as we just concluded the end of the Philadelphia Eagles game as they handle their business against the Washington Redskins 28-13. So I'm here with my buddy Bruce.
How you guys doing?
And Bruce and I are friends from college way back in the day. Just some backstory. He is a fellow Dallas Cowboys fan. He's actually visiting us here in Austin for a couple days and wanted to get him on the channel. He's a guy we have so many conversations
at least three, 4 times a week.
Oh, my goodness. And, we've always wanted to record these discussions, and here's our grand opportunity.
This is a long time coming. I feel like y'all are about to be part of something special. Like I'm feeling this right now.
Feeling it. So the energy's good. You're here in Texas.
I am.
Yeah. Hopefully we can, as the channel continues to grow, and I'm just so thankful and appreciative of everybody we got to see this weekend in Arlington. But as we continue to grow, just, reoccurring segments, just getting your thoughts, because I really value your input, which is why you're here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
hopefully I can add something.
Yeah, hopefully, right? So, obviously Philadelphia, first off, prayers to Colt McCoy and the devastating injury he suffered. UT guy, I don't want to see my guys go down like that, even though he's on the, on our rival. But, that was kind of an elimination game for the Redskins at this point. I don't know what you do with the Mark Sanchez thing. Right. And, obviously they're going to have to go back to some of the quarterbacks they had worked out, who's familiar with Jay Gruden, blah, blah, blah. To me, I hate to do this, but I'm kind of putting them to the side. Everything, as you saw at the end of the broadcast, is setting up for Eagles, Cowboys next week. And what are your initial thoughts just going into that matchup? So
my initial thoughts is, what year was that, Stephen, that we played the Eagles 3 times in a row?
I think it was 2011.
So 2011 or so. It feels very familiar to that, where the Cowboys felt like the better team the whole time, And then going into that second game, everybody said, the game was for home field advantage, actually. And everybody's like, this is going to be the big game that the Cowboys blow and that the Eagles are going to win and ultimately going to stop the Cowboys from getting where they want to go. It feels very similar to that, and the Cowboys won that game. And then the week after that, it was
either 2011 or 2009. But go ahead.
So the point is, I feel like it's that. I feel like we're going to go into this week, and because of the media and how they like to portray things, the conversation is going to be that this is the big game that the Eagles are going to win, and the Cowboys are going to go back to Stephen A's point of being the
accident waiting to happen.
The accident waiting to happen. Even though worst case scenario, we're going to still be tied up for the division lead. So, but as a Cowboys fan, I feel confident. I mean, I watched that whole game there, and everything that the Eagles do, a lot of it's in the first 5 yards, of scrimmage. And I just feel like with the linebackers that the Cowboys have and with the secondary, if we play it correct, we're going to rally.
We play that stuff well. I mean, you saw that in the first matchup we had with the Eagles. Now they're starting to get Golden Tate more acclimated with their scheme. They're feeling more confident. Obviously, Golden Tate historically has been a Cowboy killer. That's been well documented on this channel. But I'm with you. I feel comfortable with our linebackers. The Eagles, all that misdirection stuff, and to me, they're the type of team, if they're out in front, they'll try to establish their run and try to carry it home. They try to do it today with Jordan Adams. But one of the things I noticed was when we first played them, they didn't stick to their run game.
No, they're not, because the goal is in this Cowboys team is we're going to shut down the run pretty quick, and they're going to try to get the ball on the edges. So the play actions with the screens and the slants running behind it is going to be something that the Cowboys have to focus on a lot. However, they've shown that they can stop it. So that's not necessarily something I'm worried about coming into this game. I think walk it to him, Wentz, or skip it to him, Wentz, or bounce it to him, Wentz is going to be, And to be fair, I'm not an anti-Wentz guy, nor have I ever been. Other than him playing for the Eagles, I think he's a very talented young player who's coming back from an injury, and I
think you're seeing the effects of that.
Yeah, you're seeing it. I mean, and even in this Redskins game, the guy's missing some throws to the running backs in the flats, things that he just wasn't missing before. That's not to say that against the Cowboys he's not going to hit on those passes, but if the game is going to be played 10 yards or 5 yards in, I feel very confident about what the Cowboys can
Our
do to
team
stop
speed
them.
right now, I mean, you guys saw when we played the Saints. The Saints are a team, they love to deploy their running backs in a certain manner.
Yeah.
Shut all that down, all the Alvin Kamara stuff. You saw that in the red zone on the edges. One of the things, too, is a lot of the stuff where they run crossers in the middle of the field. Shut a lot of that stuff down. The Eagles add the RPO element to it. And then the Zach Ertz did have a monster game against us, but it was one of those things where we were willing to concede it.
Right. I think that was very much like the LeBron effect. It's like if LeBron gets 50, that's fine. But we're not going to allow Nelson Aguilar and Alshon Jeffrey.
If LeBron gets 50
Adams
and we give up 40 to the rest of the team, then we should win with them scoring 90 points.
Right. And
that type of element. No, I absolutely agree. The other thing, too, is time of possession.
Right.
Going to the offensive side of the ball for the Cowboys, we dominated time of possession against the New Orleans Saints. A run defense and a front that was, outstanding coming into the game, ranked first in the league. Now going against this Eagles team, we see Adrian Peterson rip off a 90-yard run today. We see them. Now, after Mark Sanchez came in, they were really just able to just clamp down on things. But Amari Cooper even.
Are we sure that Zeke can run 90 yards without?
Stop it! Stop it!
No.
Stop it! Stop it! I'm not gonna have that slander here on my channel. Look, I understand what you're saying. Zeke right now is in great shape.
Great shape for what we ask him to do.
What we're asking him to do, he is now built as the workhorse running back.
Yeah, absolutely.
He still has great bursts around the line of scrimmage. Does he have that, 4.4 breakaway speed that he did in 2016? I don't know.
Right.
Because he did get caught in the first Eagles game by Malcolm Jenkins. So, that,
33-year-old safety. Gotcha in the open field. But, that's digress. I digress. So we're going into this week, and I think this is the put up or shut up game. The traditional Cowboys, are y'all going to be the team that you're supposed to be, or are you a legit contender, or is this just you're meddling around?
Are you going to validate what the media says about you?
Exactly. Yeah. So this is the game where you got to come out, and I understand because of Jerry's comments last week with the Super Bowl talk, even though I think that the media portrayed those comments incorrectly, but a lot of people are going to feel like we shot the bullets, threw the gun in the holster and all that last week, and we're not going to have much to give to this game. So this is the week that I really expect the Cowboys. This is a division rivalry week to really put up a shut up. This is the week that I think it's going to tell me if we're really ready to be contenders. I
can't buy that as an excuse, because don't you think that with us playing on last Thursday, and the Eagles playing today on Monday, that's a pretty sizable, a gap of getting guys healed up and a little bit extra time to get ready for your opponent, a divisional game. So I see that also as an advantage for us, especially having a big win coming so early in the week, having a little bit extra time to really sit back and diagnose things, and knowing that this is going to be the game where you can really, really, I don't want to say seal up the division, but almost put it away.
Right, and I absolutely agree with you, and I think that's what it's coming down like when I say put up or shut up. I'm talking about you have no excuse to lose this game. You played on a Thursday, and then you're going to go back to playing on a Sunday. This team's coming off a Monday night game, so your players are going to be ready. David Irving may be back. You might have some more backup linemen in the game that are just available to you. So
Tyron Smith, hopefully.
So if you're a good team, you win this game. Hey, I try to be as objective as possible when talking about other teams in the NFC East. That Eagles team that we just watched today play the Redskins, there was nothing about that impressed me, that I felt like the Cowboys couldn't or shouldn't stop. So I think as long as Chris Richard gets those guys fired up in the offense.
Which he did a great job in the Saints game.
Did a great job in the Saints game. And I'm not even worried about those guys. My issue is that the Redskins in this last game couldn't score points. Frankly, Mark Sanchez, they couldn't score points. Dak, I need
questions.
You to,
let's talk about Dak. Let's
get into it.
Let's get into that conversation, because a lot of people, it's crazy when you beat the team that a lot of people had number one in their power rankings. You beat them, you end up, but you only scored 13 points.
Yeah.
And you don't have any points in the second half. I felt like for a game where not only do you beat that team, but you finish, 24-28 passing.
Yeah.
He was getting a lot of heat on social media as well as in the media itself. Well, it was Marcellus Wiley or Colin Cowherd basically calling him Tim Tebow 2.0. I feel like Dak Prescott is under a lot of heat right now, and I kind of came to bat for him after the Redskins game, Thanksgiving, and as well as the Eagles game. I thought, yes, he missed a lot of plays, but I also saw more good that helped us win that football game. I didn't feel like we won the game in spite of Dak Prescott, but I feel like the narrative right now is that we're winning in spite of the quarterback.
See, and I disagree with that. I mean, look, Dak is not perfect, and he hasn't been perfect, however, right? But, they won that game with everything Dak did. If Dak would have executed any better, they would have blew the Saints out.
Yes.
They would have won by another, let's say, 14 points.
They probably have like 27 points on the board.
And I think Cowboys fans, me and you both have to recognize and understand Dak's not Tony. He's never going to be the guy that makes all the plays. The only thing that alarms me about Dak is the fumbling. But I think the right tackle issue, especially in these games against Philadelphia where their defensive line is going to get there fast, like you got to be able to maintain possession of the ball.
So touch on the right tackle issue. What do you mean by that?
So the right tackle on this team, because we're the Dallas Cowboys, has gotten a pass. Everybody's focusing on the quarterback, the running back, the receiver play. But this right tackle has been subpar. I like the guy personally, La'el Collins. I couldn't imagine going through some of the things he went through, especially early in his career, coming out in the draft.
Sure.
And he's really battled and fought to be a starting quality right tackle. But I can tell you that right now he's not playing good. And if he comes out playing how he did in these last 2 weeks against the Eagles, we're going to get beat. Point blank in the period. There's nothing else that's going to stop that. Dak tends to get locked onto his receivers, especially when looking to his left. He doesn't see the things that are happening in front of him too fast. And so that alarms me a little bit because
it exacerbates the issue with La'el Collins.
Right.
Being, when he's so hard over here looking to his left, especially as a right-handed quarterback, and La'el Collins is giving up ground so quickly off the snap, that becomes an issue.
Yeah.
But I hear what you're saying with La'el Collins. That doesn't get Dak off the hook for the fumbles. He's got to take care of the football. And I don't know if, we start getting the hand size on, because he's having plays where he's trying to pump fake and the ball's flying out of his hands.
Can I ask you a question? And this may be for a Cowboys Nation. Like, I've always accused Dak of maybe doing a little bit too much. Would you rather Dak do a lot or do too much with the ball and get sacked? Or would you rather deal with the Tony Romo, do the ball too much and throw interceptions? And I'm not saying that either way as like a negative or positive thing. I'm curious to know how to do.
I think there's a third angle to that. I think there's also the people that think that Dak drops back, hits his back foot, and then immediately checks the ball down without allowing things to develop down the field.
Well, third down,
which is where you get the dink and Dak. So I think. To True Gunner, one of our subscribers, me and him have talked about this a lot on the channel, and I brought it up in the Redskins video. I think this goes again into the over magnification of Dak Prescott. He is a young quarterback who has fundamental issues, and I don't know, and I doubt that Dak Prescott will ever be an elite quarterback. But I actually had a subscriber last week say, hey, I don't see Dak Prescott throwing people open, throwing with anticipation. And those are valid points.
Absolutely.
But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
How many guys in the league today that you watch on a regular basis are doing those things?
I mean, I think that there's only like 2 guys or 2 to 3 guys that are really doing that. I mean, I think Tom Brady tries to do that. Phillip Rivers has been doing that very successfully.
Like this, when we're talking about this, we're talking about this season. Yeah,
this season.
Tom Brady has vacuum. Tom Brady's obviously is the GOAT, but
and one of the things I want people to understand is
this year
is so obviously I can bring Jared Goff and Pat Mahomes into this situation. However, you got to look at the offenses. These guys got people running wide open. Dak is not playing in an offense where he's got that leeway to be able to throw it to wide open receivers. And I think that's what caused him a lot of pause in the passing game.
And Patrick Mahomes is interesting because he's Dax doesn't have that arm talent, so I don't.
No.
I'm never even gonna. I don't need him to do what Patrick Mahomes does. I think for us, if in a right system, could he be Mitchell Trubisky? Because if you look at the numbers that Mitchell Trubisky is producing right now and how effective their offense is, and you did see a drop off with Chase Daniel in there.
Yeah.
Not being able to move as well with his feet and whatnot. But what the creativity that he's been able to play with Matt Nagy, and not just the creativity, but just such defined reads of, hey, I want you to go right here with the football. We're going to take care of the protection for you.
Yeah. But Steven, that's all great and dandy, but the right tackle can't block. You can't. So I hear you, and it sounds good, and it sounds fine. But and I feel like Dak is trying to do that. However, he gets so locked in, or there's still, I think, an imbalance of trust with this offensive line.
That's a good way to put it.
And so I feel like, although we're a long way removed from that Atlanta game last year, you see it still.
Yeah, no, there's still remnants of it.
And that's the thing. Look, Dak is not the problem of this team. I think I would never say...
For some people, that's going to be a hot take.
He's not... I hate to burst it to you. Guys, there's not 12 to 14 really good quarterbacks in the league. You got it yourself probably a top 16 guy. Literally speaking, you could go down and name the starting quarterback for every team, and I maybe I'm missing somebody, but is Marcus Mariota, some of these other guys, Andy Dalton, Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
You see what's going on with the Redskins. And don't forget, Dak's a 4th round draft pick. So even where he's gotten, he's overexcelled there, and he could still get better. And I think the next level of him getting better is going to come with the coaching staff. But that's, I don't know if we have enough time to cover those things.
Coaches,
that's.
I think the only thing that could potentially change, and that this is going to depend on what Jerry Jones's expectations are of this team come playoffs, assuming they win the division, is the offensive coordinator. I think Jason Garrett has secured his job at this point.
Oh, yeah, man. Red J.
I think he saved his job with that Saints game. Because they talked all that trash, and the owner talked trash, and then all he had to do was win. Whether it was by him or not, it doesn't matter. He's going to get extended.
Right.
So we need to, y'all know where I stand on Jason Garrett. You know where I stand on Jason Garrett. I've been off the Jason Garrett train probably earlier than anybody else. But at this point, I'm not going to continue to cry about things that I know aren't going to change.
It's like arguing about Jerry Jones being owner. What's the point? We're wasting time.
Yeah, he's going to move forward. Big picture, man. Though, coming even out of this Eagles game, I think we both feel in the same boat. We think this team should go in there, handle their business.
I think they're going to. I feel like, and I know everybody feels like the biggest Dallas Cowboy fan ever, right? But I feel like I understand this team and have understood this team for my life. Really, this feels like the game that they're going to go in and take care of business and win this game. I don't know how decisive it's going to be, but
what have you seen from this? Now, granted,
they're tough.
Well, the first thing I would say is they're on a 4-game winning streak.
Yeah, they're a 4-game winning streak.
They're starting to develop that consistency. A part of that 4-game winning streak was the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly.
They are young and dumb. And what I mean by that is they don't know any better. They're flying around the football.
Yeah,
they don't.
Leighton Van Der Esch, Jalen Smith. They're just flying. Yeah. They don't know any. Yeah.
When I say dumb, I mean they're devoid of any past history of Cowboys failures. This team is going in there with a new breath, a new limelight. Only thing I'm kind of worried about is Sean Lee coming back this week.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So last time he came back,
I was at the game the last time he came back in Washington.
We tried to do the rotation thing.
Didn't look good. It didn't look good in person. Didn't look good.
Very, very foolish mistake in my opinion. And granted, that was a game where we still only allowed, I believe, 13 points as the defense did.
Yeah.
It was more of a situation where, we couldn't manufacture anything until the end of the game.
Absolutely.
But when you're taking a guy off the field that I believe is the leading solo tackler in the NFL. He's only really Leighton Van Der Esch just continues to get better and better and better week after week. I don't see how he can come off the field anymore.
My issue, and Steven... and
I love Sean Lee, and I appreciate everything he's done for this team.
Yeah, he's done a lot, and I think his best role now is a coach, like in a player-coach type role.
I agree.
Or, a sub or whatever that's going to be. Outside of Khalil Mack, is there another linebacker in this league that's playing better than Leighton Benners right now?
In my opinion, I think he's right there with any other linebacker I've seen since week one.
In Jalen Smith, we've seen him time after
time. Jalen Smith was probably the player of the game in the Saints game.
How many times have Jalen Smith made a tackle in the 5 yards within the end zone on a third down, or come up and hit the run? 4th and 1s, flying through the A-gap, blitzing through the A-gap. I mean, it's not that I don't love Sean Lee, but my issue is I'm like, these guys are the right now. If the Cowboys decide they want to hold on to this, they could go a little Creed 2 on me, and try to...
Here comes the hot take.
No, I'm just saying. They could try to hold on a little bit too much from the past that they don't allow their defense to move into the future of this speed, tenacity,
especially with the way the NFL is transitioning.
Right.
And you have 2 linebackers who fit the mold of coverage of what you need to defend these schemes. Not to say that Sean Lee didn't once have that. Obviously, he has this. Yeah. But his body's failing him. It's been very clear. And he was never going to be a guy who was going to have a long career if you look at his injury history
he came into the league.
College.
Yeah, he came into the league.
Or else he wouldn't have been a second-round pick.
Right. And
that's okay.
And he even still exceeded expectation.
So, I agree. I agree. Based on what we got out of him.
Yeah, because he was a smaller guy. He put on muscle. He put on weight when he came into the league for this Cowboys team. I'm just saying that, on third and long situations, I want that rotation to be secure. And I like Jalen, what he's doing from a blitzing standpoint. And I like Leighton Vander covering people out the backfield. The last thing that I want to see in this game, I'm going to tell you right now, is if Sean Lee ends up in cover 2 and he's covering that deep seam in the middle of the field.
Well, he got beat on that before.
And I'm telling you, the Eagles are going to key on that. Mm-hmm. When he's in the game, they're going to say, your hamstring's good. Let's see you run.
Yeah.
Let's see you turn and run.
There's another guy I want to shout out just as we wrap up here. Mm-hmm. Jordan Lewis, I want to see him get more snaps. And I've completely done a 180 with him because he struggled so much at the beginning of the year, preseason. Really lost his job to Anthony Brown. They've now figured out Anthony Brown's playing well too. But they've figured out how to just keep Jordan Lewis engaged. Right. He's a very passionate person.
Right.
And I really like just what we've gotten out of him the last couple weeks.
He's the guy that needs to be involved.
In some capacity.
Yeah. So
he's playing a lot of special teams. He's got some offensive snaps.
Yeah. And they said we're going to go out there and we're going to put him on the running back, and he's going to make the open field tackles time in and time out. If we can keep Jordan Lewis involved in this game along with Anthony Brown, it opens up so much for this defense, especially the way the linebackers are playing. Because you can't scheme out as an offense how to stop all these guys. These guys are fast and they're young. Mm-hmm. And in fact, Steven, you might say that if all 6 of those players are on the field, the worst DB may be still Chidobe Awuzie.
In terms of how they're playing right now,
yes. In terms
potentially,
of and I think coming into the season with Jordan Lewis, I think he was going to possibly be able to be a starting outside corner. And it took him a while to kind of get adjusted to, you're only going to be in these interior roles or specialty matchups. And so I don't knock him for that, but he's definitely a guy I want to see play more. It seems like when he's in the game, along with Xavier Woods and Anthony Brown, good things seem to just start happening. The ball just seems to start popping up in the air, these little extra plays here.
Hey, man, I feel good about this game. I really do. I think it's another opportunity for us to make a statement as we start to see teams start to separate. Going into the stretch run before the playoffs. Anything else you want to touch on before we wrap?
Anything else I want to touch on before we wrap? We're going to keep it just kind of about the Cowboys because, we can get winded on some of those things.
Yeah.
But I think, I think the score of this game is going to be somewhere around the lines of 24-20, maybe 27-23.
Yeah, I think it will be a close game
something like that. Like I said, if you're
I do think we're going to be able to turn over Carson Wentz again. Going to your point, what you said earlier, I think he's just not as sharp for whatever reason.
He's not.
I do think Golden Tate's going to be a bigger part of the game for them, and I do think that they're going to have a more concerted effort to try to run the football. Philadelphia is because they have to. If you try to go one-dimensional against us, good luck with that.
And that's why I think they're going to lose again, because they're not going to be able to run. I think they'll start off, they'll do it. You might see we've seen a couple big carries in the first half of games where you get in 15 with the Lions. I know that happened. Some other teams where you get the big chunk plays.
But that's so key for the Eagles that they've lost in this season. Is like last year, you remember the Jay Ajayi run, where he's goes up the middle on trap for 70-something yards.
But this linebacker team, they're not going to do that.
We're plugging.
As long as the offense, and this is what it's going to come down to at the end of the day, as long as the offense is able to not go 3 and out on plays, maintain drives, we're going to be okay. The defense gets their rest, and we'll be okay. And not saying we need to settle for field goals, but we'll be fine. The only issue I can see happening is these 3 and out drives where we come out, we run the ball on first down, we throw it on second down, incomplete pass, and then we dump it down on third down, it's 4th and 3, and then we punt.
But again, though, I just like the way we're leveraging Ezekiel Elliott in the pass game, as well as Amari Cooper, being able to build off of that and get some big plays down the field. I feel really good about it, guys. Yeah. Man, thanks for coming on and just talking some boys with us.
Absolutely.
We'll have to have you on more regular basis, just to, even though you're in D.C. and dealing with some of the crazy Redskins fans, give them a hug when you get back.
I will.
It's been a tough time for those guys.
For Redskins fans. I don't even want to talk trash to you guys who are watching or who may know Redskins fans, just because when you have that many injuries, it's sad. I mean, you got two quarterbacks with broken fibulas. Like,
that's insane.
Like, golly, it's just not for y'all. But karma, it's a thing.
Hey, well, you don't want to pay Kirk Cousins, but that's a whole nother thing. Should
have paid that guy in Minnesota or whatever.
The Reuben Foster.
Real quick though, a special shout out. I want to shout out my daughter, Drew Gilmore.
My goddaughter.
His goddaughter here, and I also want to shout out my fantasy team, the Eric Andre Show, for being the number 1 fantasy team this season, baby.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Hey, I want to shout out my fantasy team for being number 2 in the league, but beating him twice this season. And, hopefully you make it to the finals. I know you have to go through my brother. That's going to be a problem. But if you make it through my brother, Patrick Mahomes and us will be waiting for you.
We'll see what happens. Patrick Mahomes and his 6 touchdowns per game every time he plays against me.
See you at the top.
We'll see you there as long as at the top, but we'll see you there. So.
All right, guys. Well, please comment. Let us know. We'd love to talk with y'all.
Go Cowboys, man.
Go Cowboys.
Hook 'em.